Entering the Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, The Challenge, War of the Worlds, Episode 1 recap, and fantasy game. If you want to get in the Pat Mayo Experience Challenge Fantasy League, hit the description of this video and or podcast, and boom, the link is there. It's up on Fantasizer.com. Shout out to everyone at Fantasizer for putting this league all together. Also, if you want to get into a draw for $20 DK dollars, there are two ways to do that. One, smash the like button for the episode. Leave your DraftKings handle in the comment section and let me know who you think is going to win this season of the challenge. Which pair do you have coming out on top and splitting their share of $1 million? No spoilers. This is a spoiler-free zone. If you do that, you'll be banned from life for the show and the comment section and everything else. Don't ruin it for everyone. We enjoy the challenge here. We want to see how this unfolds, and we want to play the fantasy game. If you get anything in terms of spoilers anywhere near me, I'll shame you on social media to the extent where you'll probably have to delete your accounts. So keep that in mind. Also, if you leave a 5-star review of the Pat Mayo Experience on iTunes, Spotify, or Stitcher, you're in a draw for 20 DK bucks. 5 stars, something nice about the show, and your DraftKings handle. Boom. Those winners will be announced on Monday's show on the Pat Mayo Experience Golf Show with Jeff Feinberg. Let's get into this. Joining me on the line, he is the host of the Challenge Chronicles podcast, so everyone go sub to that. He is also the one running this fantasy game this season. First time ever doing that. It is Rob McIntyre. Is this a lot of work for you or what?
It's kind of a lot of work. I'm not gonna lie. It's definitely work I prefer over like doing math equations, but it's still got some stuff going on.
So I used to come up with the pricing back when I had a ton of time on my hands and was really into this. I'm just so happy I can review the show again because it's not happening during football season, so I actually have the time to watch it and talk about it, think about it just a little bit, and it's nice to have someone to rebound off of. I should let everyone know, Paul Shag coming up a bit later in the show to really dig in to the episode. And if ever devotees of the Pat Mayo Experience will know, Paul's got some fire takes on a lot of this stuff. But you came up with the pricing. How hard was it to really put a price next to a person's name? Because the rules work is you have a team of 6. One of them are designated as your team captain. They score more points. But you have a salary cap of $1,000 to pick 6 people. And, it's tough trying to fit without knowing who's going to win. It's really tough to really set the prices, isn't it?
It is really difficult to set the prices. I've honestly been tempted to message people who I know read the spoilers to say if this is accurate or not, but then I feel like that would all kind of be cheating. So, with this season especially, because it's pairs and not individuals, and we don't really know how half this cast is going to perform, I made the pricing pretty close and more so just try to tie it based on the experience of the alumni cast member versus how good I think the prospect will be. So I came out with it that way, but everybody's price between $100 and $200. So there's not even a huge range between the worst and the best.
So you didn't make any stances on anyone being like, this person looks like they're terrible, so I'm going to make them $20.
Well, see, that might be my interpretation, but everybody else has all these hot takes on these people. I don't know if I feel really comfortable making such a huge, strong stance on the pricing for these guys.
All right, so let's talk about the rules just a little bit for the fantasy game. The big things are the most points that you can score is winning the actual challenge. 250, 200, 150, 100 for second, third, and fourth. You win a daily mission, you get 30 points. You win an elimination, you get 25 points. If TJ says you killed it, you get 5 points. That seems low to me. And what's surviving a cycle? What's that?
So a cycle is just anytime there's a mission, then the house, then a voting, and then an elimination. So basically anytime an elimination happens and you're not launched in that elimination, then you get 3 points.
So as long as you're not voted in, you get 3 points is what you're saying.
Essentially, yes.
All right, so the other ways that you can score points, and you can go check this out. I'll have the link in the description of this video as well with all the rules and everything like that. But fighting, producer interaction, both 30 points. You have nudity, verbal fighting, sex, 25 points. Explain the sex rule.
So basically, it's just if the 2 cast members pull the blankets over their heads, then we're going to count that.
Okay, that works for me. This one's a bit...
Also, really quickly.
Yeah?
Just if they with this year, if they claim to have had sex before, but it's not shown on screen, that will not count because with Polly and Cara on this season, they'd be getting 120 points every episode, it seems like.
Sure, and like, can you get more than one per episode? Like, if Polly and Kara bang at the beginning and then do it again, is it double points?
You can if it's separate people. So like if someone hooks up with somebody in the first part of the episode and then a different person in the second part of the episode, they not only get like 30 points twice, they actually get a 1.5 bonus on the second occurrence.
Okay, I don't mind that. Kissing and playing a prank and vomiting, all worth points, as is crying. Getting kicked off the show, 150 points. That's always a big score because there's usually a lot of points that come along with that to begin with. Just being in a confessional is 2 points. That seems like it's going to be... You added stuff in here that's going to be really hard to score, by the way.
I'll figure it out. I'm not worried.
All right, so the hardest ones to do, the politicking points, forming an alliance, 20 points, breaking an alliance, 15 points, voting someone into elimination, 10 points, casting a tying vote. When you say vote someone into elimination, does that mean like if you just vote, you get 10 points?
Well, so if you're part of like a voting block that succeeds in getting someone thrown in, then you get the points. But if the season shakes out where it's just like whoever wins gets to just pick somebody and it's not the whole house voting, then that'll just be rendered moot.
Okay. Let's get into the pricing, the hard part. The most expensive players on the board, all veterans, because we don't really know as much about the rookies. This is essentially a fresh meat season. But Kara and Johnny Bananas, number 1 and 2, as are, let's see here, and Johnny's partner is 170. That's Morgan CT is 200. His partner Julia is 140. Wes is 200. D Nguyen is 140. Cara Marie is 200. Theo is 170. Killa Cam 190. Ashley Kane 160. So of those, you just went Kara, Wes, CT, Bananas. The name brands is the most expensive.
Yeah, well, those are really like, I feel like those 4 kind of stand above everybody else in terms of their place in the show. So I figured I'd all just price them the same. And with the confessional points this season, they're also all get a lot of confessionals, so they'll stack up points that way.
All right, so the next guys on the list, Zach leads it off at 190 points. And then you have his partner, how do you pronounce her name? Zahida?
I think it's Zahida. Zahida, yeah, that's what we'll go with.
All right, well, she seems terrible. She's $120. Hunter's 180. George is 140. His partner, Smashley, 180, the biggest wild card on the board. Paul will, I'm sure, have hot takes on Smashley a little bit later on. Chase, her partner, is 120. Jenna, 170. Gus is 160. Then you have, let's see here, Nani is 150 and Turbo is 180. Now, my take is that Turbo is just going to win this, so he is the freest square on the board.
I am also very in on Turbo this season, so
I just worry about his like extracurricular points as it all breaks down.
yeah, that's what I am too. Because I don't think he'll get that many confessionals because his accent is so hard to understand. Plus, it doesn't seem like he's really in for hooking up or getting into too many fights. But Nani will probably take care of them for that pair. So.
Well, you do and I guess I should say that you're not drafting the pair. You can draft the individual. You don't need to take both sides of the team.
That's true, but I've found like I'm here to win. I'm not gunning for second place, and I've found in the past that stacking the pairs is generally what's going to let you win versus just getting in the middle somewhere.
I have already drafted my team. I've already set my lineup, and I can tell you that not all 6 of my picks are teammates.
I have mine like kind of mapped out in my mind, and I'm thinking we're going to go with 3 pairs here.
All right, so the rest of the players, Leroy and Shailene, 160 and 110. Polly is 150. Ninja is 180. She's definitely going to be on my team because she looks like a wrecking ball. And I said, Polly's 150, Ninja's 180. I'm not taking Polly because I don't want to root for Polly because I don't like him. Kyle is 150. Maddie is 160. Natalie and JP, 140 and 110. Devon and Bear, 140 and 130. Decent value on that team. Amanda, 130. And Josh, the lowest price player on the board, $100. It does seem like from the trailers he cries a lot.
That's fair, but he also got eliminated and then brought back again. So I don't feel like
that doesn't count against him. He's already on. He's still there.
Well, sure, but it doesn't speak well for the future prospects there. And also, it's a decent excuse. Hey, you already were launched once. Go do it again.
I guess so. He just seems terrible, by the way. Like, all of these...
No, he does not seem great.
All of these Big Brother people just seem kind of terrible. I'm really out on the Big Brother people to begin with, as opposed to some of these other shows where it seems like people really like to mix it up, but they are not physically the same as some of the other people coming in.
Well, I mean, they already had 2 of their people get launched the first episode. I mean, I know Josh got brought back again, but he was already launched once. Morgan seems good, but I'm not that high on any of the rest of them.
I don't find that. I mean, Morgan had a nice showing, but she doesn't really seem like she's going to be all that great. I'm not going to lie to you. I think that Bananas may have got stuck with a dud partner.
Well, he was really in on her, though.
Sure, because
he was scouting her out from the beginning.
Of course he was. He wanted to hook up with her.
Well, I mean, that seems very apparent, but I don't know. I think she'll be okay. She won, too. And she actually seems like she's in better shape than Josh.
But what does winning Big Brother actually do for you on this show? It probably does nothing but put a target on your back. Full disclosure, full fade on Johnny Bananas and his partner Morgan.
I'm a pretty big fade on Bananas this season, too. I had to price him the way he was just because he's Johnny Bananas. I don't think they'll do that well, but I can certainly see why someone would be high on their prospects this season.
Like, of all the very top teams, the Kara, Johnny, Wes, and CT, like, I'm just off. CT's partner, Julia, just seems brutal, so no thanks to her. I kind of like the Wes and D team the best of, like, that top
That's
end.
my pair, too. I want to have the same team as you, but that was my pick, too.
See, I like Kara and Theo, too, but I don't want to have Kara. I think she's going to be too popular, and Theo looks like a legit gamer.
Theo does look like a legit gamer. I just don't know how much Kara's head is in this season. Literally every single word that comes out of her mouth now is related to Polly.
I mean, well, there's an alliance right there. You have Polly and you have Kara. They're going to be locked in. If Kara's with Theo, he seems to be in with all the Brits. So maybe they can be. I'm really fading all of like the really established people in this game. The only one that I'll probably end up going with is the Wes and D combo, just because I think that they're going to be really good.
The thing with Wes, too, now, it seems like everybody else really likes him in the house as opposed to when he came on and everybody hated him. So he's got that going for him. It seems like he's in really good shape. His partner also seems pretty solid and seems to have her head in the game. So that out of like the bigger, higher price pairs, that was the one I was really leaning towards.
Now, do you have any sleepers on the board that you're going to? So I've basically given away my entire team here. Like I like Turbo, I like Ninja, I like Wes and his partner. I'll probably end up taking Nani because she's only $150 and paired with the person. I think that team wins. So that's how I'm playing the pairs. So the teams that I think that are going to come 1-2, I'll take as a pair and then pick and choose my other guys. I think Theo's going to be a wrecking ball. He's the best athlete on the show.
Yeah, he's 6'5" and is an Olympic sprinter. And if you could design someone to be on the challenge, those are pretty good attributes to have.
Now, I don't know how
lower on the board here.
Lower on the board, yeah.
I think Kyle and Maddie could actually be kind of like a sleeper team.
Kyle sucks.
I just think they're so big. Well, no, they're just so big that I think they could just win a lot of eliminations. And then there's so many Brits on this season, too. You've got Kyle who brings in that British, brings in all these British allies in with him. And then they're big, and then so if they get thrown in, I think they have a decent shot of winning.
Potentially.
I'm not in on them winning this season. I think they'll be around a while.
I don't know. I kind of like the Hunter and Georgia team. That one's really interesting just because Hunter's really good. And it seems like he's going to get in enough skirmishes, at least with Ashley, for as long as she's on the show, that he's going to pile up points that way.
She will not be on the show long.
I don't know about that. Like, it seems like she's already threatened to quit once.
I'm a huge fade on. Yeah, exactly. She already threatened to quit once. She has no allies on this season besides Amanda. I don't know. I doubt she makes it past 4 episodes.
Yeah. Yeah, and even Leroy and Shailene, Leroy's not going to win. Let's face it. CT's not going to win either.
No, he's not. I think Leroy might be able to hang around for a bit just because he has so many allies. So I could see him hanging around. I just don't see him garnering up that many points. So he seems like he'll have a few fights with Cam, but outside of that, I don't see him doing all that much.
I guess the Theo pick, too, that comes along. It looks like from the season on that he's going to start hooking up with Cam, which, that can always go a long way to providing a nice floor of points for everyone. So I'm in on them. And like I said, I would take Polly, but I hate Polly so much that I don't want to take him.
Hey, you're really not out on Polly. I don't like Polly as just from a person perspective, but I do think he's good for the show, which a lot of people disagree with.
I mean, he's fine for the show. He's a nice heel to have in the house, but I just feel like
you need your heel.
I guess it's technically Bananas. Maybe we'll see. But it seems like where there's so many Brits on the season and people coming over from other reality shows for years. The vets would get in the house and the Are You the One people or all the new people would come in and just get knocked off one by one because they had no strategy of how to win this stuff. Where the Brits come in and these people from other reality shows come in, they know how to form an alliance and vote out the vets. I don't think that the vets are in a good enough spot, especially with a lot of their partners, that they're going to last very long. I think if I was the Brits and the other people, I'd be going right for the jugular on everyone.
The issue with the Brits, I almost think there's too many of them. Because, like, Theo is tied to Cara, and Cara's not going to want to vote out Polly. Then is Polly sort of, like, tangentially in that alliance, too, then? And then you have, like, I mean, I don't know if Dee really counts because she's technically from Australia, but she was on a British show. But with all of them on this season, I don't think an alliance that big on this type of season is that sustainable.
I don't know if it's sustainable in the long term to like get you to the final, but I think that they can all gang up and knock off Zach and CT and Bananas and like all the established
Zach
challenge
has,
people
Zach
right
has
away.
a British partner. So
Yeah, well, you can. Yeah, but eventually, well, there's not like a bunch of British duos, obviously. So someone's gonna have to fall by the wayside.
Well, that's kind of my point. I just think that eventually they'll start, and then also I think the vets are still gonna have a bigger voice on the team than the prospects. So, like, if they don't want to align with one of the vets because they have a personal vendetta with them, I think that could really drive that alliance apart.
All right, so give me your picks for the season then. Who do you think's going to end up winning this thing?
I really want to say Wes and D win. Wes is my favorite character, so it almost feels like a bit of a homer pick. I would say them, but then outside of that, Nani and Turbo are like my second pick.
Yeah, I think that Nani and Turbo. The big thing is I worry about Nani, because she is not the best athlete, whereas Turbo, I like Turbo's game plan. I don't think that he's going to be the one like staying up, getting drunk with everyone. He's not going to be involved in hookups. It really does seem like he's there to win. Plus, even with the brief clips that we got from him on episode 1, he's already getting like a hero cut, like being a great dude. Unless that somehow turns, it seems like he's being built up as like a real good guy.
How he saunters in with CT while everybody else charges for the house.
Yeah, and he's already friends with CT. That can always. This isn't like 10 years ago, where if you're friends with CT, you're gonna be like the first person gone because everyone hates your guts. Now it's a good thing to be friends with CT.
Yeah, exactly. You've got CT. CT's friends with Wes, and then you have like a little alliance forming there. And then you're already good to go.
Well, and Wes and Nani would have an alliance anyway. It just I can see. I think you kind of hit it with Wes that he's been gone for so long that it seems like people actually like him now, which is a huge advantage to him because, listen, he's not going to stop being real sneaky.
Exactly. He'll be like, he's that type of person now where it seems like he'll just smile and backstab somebody, and just because they're friends with him outside of the show, they won't care all that much.
Yeah, and he'll just continue doing his thing. Like, did you watch the after show of episode 1?
I did watch the after show.
It's not good.
I thought it was okay. I mean, I thought the Justina, the host they had on now, was good. I just thought the questions they asked them were a little bland.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they were grilling Polly was actually kind of surprising, but I don't know what I want from a challenge after show, but like that's not it.
Well, I know exactly what I want. I want Johnny Moseley hosting it and have him bring them 4 cast members, just have them fight and him try to control it. That's exactly what I'm looking for.
We already had Johnny Moseley as the after show host, and it was like
it was fantastic when he was there.
Like the editing that they had to provide for Johnny Moseley just to get like a straight line reading out of him was it would have been too much work for production.
Oh, please. They record these things like 4 or 5 weeks in advance.
Yeah,
they have plenty of time to edit around all the nonsense.
They couldn't edit
and I mean,
around
they green
the last
TJ like
time
every
that
2
they were
seconds.
on. Hold on. The last time that Johnny Moseley was an after-show host, they actually had to resort to jump cuts because he was so bad, which is like a big no-no in actual TV. Something you see on YouTube or in an Instagram story? Sure. On actual MTV? No, that stuff is not cutting it. And that's the only way they could splice it together because he's so fucking bad.
Well, I mean, they had some pretty bad ones on the first episode with TJ, too, where he was like introducing the drafting method, and then they had to cut away because he couldn't remember his line or whatever.
Sure, but they have enough B-roll for on-location stuff to cut away from that. It's like me and you right now. If I fuck up, what am I going to cut to? Nothing. It's going to be like me here, and then like it'll jump back, and now I'm talking over here. We could potentially do that, but what if you're not talking, and I need to re-up in the middle?
Well, I mean, then we cut it. Then you say after the show, hey, make this comment.
You don't think about this from a production standpoint.
I think about this. I think about this from the point that I would be very entertained if they brought Moseley back. They can even leave in all the mess ups. I don't care.
They're just not going to do that. If they leave all the mess ups in, then yes, it would be absolutely hilarious. But there's no way that they're ever doing that. Listen, can you imagine the blooper
reel on a Moseley after show?
I could do one. I could do one after show with Johnny Moseley. He cannot be hosting it every week.
Well, what if you have like 2 hosts? You can have him and somebody else, and then they can host it.
Maybe we can just get like a live feed, someone like with a GoPro on to follow around Johnny Moseley to see what he's up to, and you can watch that on a live stream. Just him being
apparently he does skiing now, and apparently he's actually pretty good.
Who?
Moseley.
He's doing what?
He like just like comments on like skiing. It's like those Olympic skiing qualifiers. He does those, and he's actually pretty good apparently.
Well, he was an Olympic downhill skier. I would assume that he like.
No, but I mean good. Like he knows what he's up to production wise.
That is frankly quite stunning because he was unable to grasp how to host. I guess hosting a panel with like 17 people on it is probably not what you want to do. He was also a terrible host of the challenge as well.
He was terrible at everything, but it was terrible in a way that made it very entertaining. He's the Tommy Wiseau of a reality TV show host.
Yeah, but that was the whole thing. Like even last year when Disaster Artist came out, and then we had a whole bunch of Tommy Wiseau in our life, there gets to be a breaking point where it's not funny anymore.
I was pretty in on Disaster Artist. I don't know.
I liked the movie Disaster Artist, but I didn't need to see Tommy Wiseau popping up on every TV show and every talk show. It's like, yeah, I get it. You're Tommy Wiseau.
Well, I mean, that's what happens with every movie. I think if they brought in Moseley, maybe have him do like every other episode and have pair him with somebody else. I don't know. I just need Johnny Moseley involved in the challenge again.
I don't think it's ever going to happen. I'm not going to lie to you.
Like, can you imagine trying to like defuse a Pauly Kyle fight or something? It'd be fantastic.
It wouldn't, because it would be, unless they punched Johnny Moseley, like it would just get lost of what was actually going on, because he would sit there just being confused out of his mind.
Those things barely ever actually tell you what's going on. They don't reveal anything. So I just need them for entertainment purposes.
You don't find the show entertaining enough? You need Johnny Moseley in there?
Well, I mean, the after show is because he's a bit of a juice.
Yeah, the after shows could use a bit. I think it's formatting. Like, do we really need a panel of challenge people? Like, I don't know about that. Show us like blooper reels or something. Show us the stuff we didn't see on the after
that would
show.
Actually be, you know what, that would actually be a really good idea. You know how they used to have the shit they should have shown? If they could do that as for the main part of the after show, I think that would actually be a pretty good idea.
That's probably the way I would want to go. Like, even on the one last night, like they Skyped in, I think it was Georgia.
It was Morgan. The Bananas part.
Yeah, that's when I really started to not like her. But like her internet feed was really bad. Like that seems strange.
Yeah, it was bad. It was not great. And then her and Wes were like arguing, but you could barely even tell what they were arguing about because her internet feed was so bad. And Wes was just like trying to keep up with this. How did I have better internet, by the way?
That I don't know, because it's not bad. It's not bad internet from the studio part. It's bad internet from the.
No, it's from her part.
As someone who brings in a lot of guests via video and via Skype and other things, that some people's internet's not so great, and they do become rather choppy and not HD.
I guess so. I don't even really see why that was necessary. I guess they wanted to have a prospect on, but then couldn't they have just replaced one of the alumni they had on with the prospect?
Guess so. I mean, the reason that you're not on videos because your internet sucks, and we can just do it through your phone.
Okay,
and put up a phone report. I mean, that's why we're doing it this way, because it doesn't look as good the other way. You think that they would, especially because, like you mentioned, it's not live. Yeah, it's live to tape when they're filming it, but
it's not live.
You could go back and cover it with something.
That's actually a good point. I don't know why they didn't do that. I don't know. I think they could definitely shape that up a lot. I don't mind them now. I think last night's I thought was okay just because of the people they had on. But if they bring on some of these people who don't have the insightful commentary that like Wes and Nani did, I don't see how that show is going to work.
Yeah. You constantly have to put on the people. Like, what if it gets down? Like, what happens? Like I said, like some of the vets just get knocked off right away, and then they're not even eligible to be on the after show. It's just a bunch of people that no one know.
Yeah, it's like Jenna's going to be your voice of reason on the show. That wouldn't really work. I don't see. They should bring on like old challengers as the after show host too. Justina I actually thought was okay last night, but like a Jemmy or like a Devin Simone I think would be really good. Someone who's just there to make some witty comments and actually knows what's up.
Yeah, I guess so. That would at least provide better. Like it, I think the host is so critical, and maybe it's just I don't like Justina Valentina or whatever the hell her name is. Her accent really bothers me. What is it like? Really like thick Jersey accent?
Yeah, it's like a Jersey Staten Island sounding accent.
Yeah, like the one thing about broadcasting is, yeah, you have your niches and you have your personalities, but there is the standard broadcasting voice where people aren't supposed to be able to tell where you're from.
Yeah, no, I buy that. I don't know. I think moving to two hosts, having one host who's there for laughs, a la Johnny Moseley, and then having like a Jemmy or a Devin would be good. And then I just think that the questions probably need some shaping up. They just ask these generic like Pauly, who's your biggest target in the house? Everybody who's seen like 3 seconds of the show knows who Pauly's biggest target in the house is. So let's give them some more open forum to actually make some insightful comments.
At the same time, I don't know if MTV wants to play that game either. They want to manufacture everything to make it a part of the product because they've really pumped a lot of money into the challenge. You can just tell by the prize pools have gone way up. The production value is like out of control. It's so good now.
Well, their advertising has gone way up too. I was just watching the Bucks Wizards game the other night and the commercial for the challenge popped up. I was stunned.
Yeah, so it's a big budget thing, so they want to control the narrative, and they can do that in the after show by scripting the questions. Even the people in the audience, they're given the questions before they stand up and ask.
Those are 100% scripted questions. There's no way they're coming up with those.
And that's the way that you script the questions to push the narratives that you want to push. And then if you watch the after show, it bleeds into the actual show, and it makes the points that are coming up in future episodes more resonant, and you're already aware of them, and you have a bit of backstory. One thing fuels another. It was an hour, right?
No, it was only half an hour.
It felt like an hour. It really did.
The Pauly segment was real cringy. So that one really stretched out.
I was actually stunned that they went there with Pauly with this whole Kara and that girl from The Bachelor thing. I just assumed they would gloss completely over it.
I think they kind of had to address it just based on how much noise there is around it. I just thought it was strange that Wes and Nani were still there and just kind of like sitting there as Pauly's getting grilled on these questions.
They were laughing the entire time. They were just like, they were both half cringing and like laughing when he was trying to give his answers.
Yeah, it was not, I would not have wanted to be in their position. That would not have been good for me.
All right, Rob, actually, I'll ask you this before you get out of here. What is the bomb Amanda's going to drop? Is it that her and Zach slept together?
I definitely cannot see that have happened. I have 2 theories. So I either think it was that Zach cut a deal with Johnny and Tony, and then the reason she can't reveal it is because then that's like a huge legal issue for them. Or secondly, that like either Zach or Jenna hooked up with somebody. Probably Jenna.
Oh, I never even thought about that. I just assumed it would be on Zach.
That's what everybody was thinking too. I almost think that's too obvious though. And when would Zach have been on? Zach hasn't really been on the show. Well, I guess he was on Vendettas when Jenna wasn't on, but Amanda wasn't on that season either. So Amanda wouldn't have been there to like know. So I think that like Jenna hooked up with somebody and Amanda found out about it.
Maybe.
Or they cut a deal.
Or they cut a deal. Or Jenna. I mean, technically Zach and Jenna were on last season together, but Jenna never made it into the house.
Yeah, that's true. I just think then, because then it even couldn't have been like they were cheating on each other because they were on a break up until like around Vendettas. So like Dirty 30 Invasion or Dirty 30 Rival 3 Invasion, any of those seasons, I think she could have hooked up with somebody. Like remember, she was the one who was pushing the Bruno thing. So maybe Jenna hooked up with Bruno again after Invasion, and that's a huge bomb.
Wasn't that guy like living in a van or something down by the river?
Yes, he was the Matt Foley of challenge contestants.
So is this potentially just a big red herring too? That we see?
Oh, I think it's
like we saw the like future clips of like Zach and Jenna fighting about like,
that's the thing
is
too.
it over? Like I don't believe it. Like I feel like it would.
Zach is the one breaking up with. Well, the thing is too with that, Zach is the one breaking up with Jenna. It's not the other way around. That would lead me to believe Jenna was like the offender.
Do we even think that they're breaking up? Because that's not explicitly said.
Oh no, they are not broken up.
They could be talking about anything in this.
No, they could be. Well, yeah, they could be talking about anything. I think that could have been what it's alluding to, though. And they're not broken up. That did not happen.
But it's set up like when you watch it that Zach is breaking up with Jenna. That's how it's presented to you.
Oh, obviously.
But they could be talking about their alliance is broken up or something is going on in the game and it's just made to look that way. And then it actually happens like 3 weeks from now on the show. You're like, oh, this was nothing.
I mean, sure, but I think that would make a lot of sense to me if the bomb was related to that. I guess it could have been like an alliance or something. Who knows?
All right.
I think, but wait, really quick. If it was an alliance type thing, don't you think they would have like called that out on Twitter and said, "Hey, that was just a political thing. We haven't actually broken up yet."
No, because they probably tell them like, "Hey, don't comment on the show in this way. This is
yeah, but they tell them a lot of things and they don't obey.
Yeah, most people do obey though. It's usually the people. It's usually the people not on the show that don't obey the rules of MTV. Hence, why they're no longer on the show.
I guess that's a fair point. I don't know. I think the bomb was either A, Zach cut a deal, and in which case they'll never reveal it because they don't want the legal issues there.
What is the legal issue with that though? Why can't?
Well, they aren't legally allowed to split the money. That's like explicitly stated in their contracts now. Because remember back on like super early seasons, like seasons 1 or Sexes 2, they basically admitted on the show they were splitting the money after the show. And then now they had it like written into their contracts where they're not allowed to do it. But they still do it all the time. And cast members who have been removed from the show at this point have like explicitly stated that they did it then and they're probably still doing it now.
I mean, it wouldn't make any sense if people weren't doing that. It would just be crazy. Like I think we talked about.
No,
it's
not with the amount of money that's on the line.
Yeah, like when you get sent to Redemption House in previous season, I hope to God there's no stupid twist like this. Like they change the teams at some point, or there's a way to get back in.
I don't think that's happening.
I just want a season where if you lose, you're out. That would be nice. But even like in the last season, when you're in Redemption House, where you actually have to draw to see who gets picked, you have to cut a deal with someone and be like, look, I think that you're the best team, Zach and Amanda, whatever. I know they had to go. But like if I'm in there being like, listen, if you guys get back in and you win, give us 40% of your money and we'll make sure that we pick you and vice versa. And that way one of us gets a chance to go back in.
No, I completely agree. I would be trying to do the same thing. It's not allowed, but I mean, the show that hasn't done much to strike it down either. Also, this season too, so do have a new production company coming in. Justin Booth, who came on around, I want to say it was Gauntlet 2 was his first season, and then did a super long stretch of seasons after that. He's back on. So he's supposed to be bringing the Thunder back in terms of making the show more competitively focused and not having all these wild twists that don't really make sense.
Yeah, I don't like the wild twist. I could get back to like drinking some more. That would be better and ideal for me. I enjoy like that.
I mean, they weren't drinking enough for you the past 3 seasons. I don't think that was the issue.
I don't want to. I'm not concerned really about people freaking out about house politics. I enjoy when they're drinking and having a good time, and then someone gets into a fight, like a physical fight.
I mean, they had plenty of physical fights past seasons. I just think the past few seasons where the twist, outside of Dirty 30, I don't think the twists were planned out correctly, and I don't think they make much competitive sense.
All right. Rob, where can people download the Challenge Chronicles?
If you go to the Challenge Chronicles on iTunes or the Challenge Chronicles.podbean.com, you can find our podcast there. Also, if you go to my Twitter account, I have my Medium site, which is going to have my recap and power rankings every week for the season. So go check out my stuff on either of those sites.
All right, cool. And you can follow Rob on Twitter at RobMCI16. Coming up next to really dig into episode 1, the recap, it is the man, the myth, the Mel Kiper of fantasy, reality, TV, prognostication, Paul Shag. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Pat Mayo Experience. If you just jump to the recap part of the show, again, if you want to join the Fantasy League, the link is in the description of this audio podcast or video show. Joining me in studio to break this all down, to really dig in. I mean, Rob was good to get the scoring out of there and some of his hot takes, but if we want hot takes, there's one man to turn to, the Mel Kiper of reality TV. It's Paul Shea.
I'm back.
It's been a while.
It's been years. Not that I've ever really left. I've always been here in studio. Sometimes you can hear me off in the distance and echoey and so on and so forth, but
it brings me.
It's been a while for the two of us. You switching your own show.
I know it brings me back to the. Just now, I got stuff going on here. I got the time codes going on. I got the cameras to be switched. I mean, I can just go to myself like this, and be like, "Hey, how's it going?" And now I don't need to be like looking down the entire time and not knowing if the camera's on me or not. I know when the camera's on, and I think one of my favorite things about this season of the challenge, and we're gonna recap episode 1, talk about some of our fantasy picks, but I like that they brought in people from other shows, and you brought this up to me before. Just reality TV experience goes a long way to making the show better.
100%. We've seen it with guys like Pauly and a bunch of Davon. Like, you may not like her gimmick or whatever, but they know how to be on reality TV. Like, this is almost, there's actually rumors out there that like a bunch of them are just like fake people. They're not even real people. Like, this is all kind of like
they're bots,
agencies and stuff that are just setting up these reality TV, but they're basically actors at this point. Like, these are characters that they're creating.
I don't know about that. I know that guy who got launched because of the broken arm. I think like his agent begged to get him on the show.
Yeah, well, no, I mean like Pauly, and there's Demi from this season of The Bachelor. They obviously met up, and people were talking about how it's that they slept together and he cheated on Kara and blah 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 blah. But a lot of people, the people in the dark web, the underground web, are saying that like these people are all connected and that they're just like running people out from an agency. Interesting characters that you can put on reality TV and make bucks. Like it kind of makes sense. Like I don't know if I'm gonna put my tinfoil hat on quite yet, but
Well, I heard
something to look into.
I heard this bear guy got a bunch of money to be on this show.
Who is he?
He's the.
Well, I know who he is.
He won British Big Brother twice.
Okay.
Or Celebrity Big Brother twice. Like he's like a legit star in the UK.
I wonder how much they would have had to offer Scotty T.
I don't know, but if you're gonna give out $1 million in prizes for like the winner, I mean, you could use $2 million to just get Scotty T on. It'd be worth it.
Yeah.
Scotty T is the best reality TV character.
Him and
ever.
his Turbo D. He wouldn't be the only Turbo in the house, though.
I guess so, but like, if you have Scotty T and you're gonna like pay up for him, like, why not pay for Ronnie from Jersey Shore?
Like that's what I like the direction that they're going now, because it was starting to get stale, and then they've introduced all these new characters, and like I like these new characters because they're good at reality TV.
They are, but here's the thing, and why it felt so crappy for a while. Are You the One? Not a great show.
They were trying to pump that show up.
I get that, but it's not a good show.
Yeah.
So that's a problematic. So let's start at the very beginning of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
We have just a challenge right off the hop. It's a huge dune. Production value out of control.
Amazing.
Like drone shots, crane shots. Like it's a pretty penny.
It's next level.
How much do you think each of these episodes cost?
$100K. Like plus they're
I might say
flying
more.
Yeah, probably. Like production cost. I don't know. I have no idea. We're in this small little studio.
Yeah,
we came from an even smaller studio. Like our mentality about production costs and what
cheap as possible.
100%. That's why we are doing what we're doing right here. Is that we're pretty good at doing things on a pretty modest budget. I have no idea. Yeah, $1 million per episode, probably pretty reasonable, I guess.
Well,
you're flying people over to Namibia. You have all of this equipment. Like I know it's cheap once you get there in terms of having a house for them to live in, and food and booze is probably pretty cheap.
I wasn't even thinking about like housing costs for not only the people and the production and everything like that, probably like the air conditioning costs.
Just like the editing and producing costs?
Just like all I know is I remember when I first started the show and I came over to DraftKings, I really wanted to shoot my intro like the intro to Vanderpump Rules, which is the best intro in all of TV. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And they use like this super duper camera with a lens that shoots at a really slow frame rate. And to buy one of those cameras or even like rent one of those cameras is like out of this like thousands and thousands of dollars just to rent. And it seems like they have like 5 of these cameras as like a production, like on scene production, just like mounted and filming these guys going down dunes. Like the shots look incredible.
Well, we're in season 33, so it's like anything. As time goes on, it's just like you add more and more and more equipment.
But it seemed like it was going the other way.
Yeah.
It seems like they really made a concerted effort being like, hey, people like the challenge.
Yeah.
Let's actually invest in this.
Let's make this our flagship show.
Yeah, even when Bananas beat Sarah and took all of her money, I think like he only ended up with like $300,000.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know, like now they're getting $1 million every single time, which is nothing to them. Like it's good. I think it works just if you're not going to spend the money on like advertising or anything like that, that just having $1 million as the prize is
probably why you
itself.
get a bunch of these other characters to show up.
Exactly.
If it was, it's $250,000 and it's chopped 3 ways at the end, it's like some of these people from Big Brother or people who are a little bit bigger celebrities are not showing up to this.
Thoughts on the cast? Can we both agree that like the Big Brother people suck? Like they're bad.
Which ones?
Like just in general.
Pauly?
Paul, listen, I hate Pauly.
Pauly's the best.
You love Pauly. I think he's a fun character for the show. I personally
He's a great character for the show.
I don't like him, but
you're not supposed to like him.
Well, some people do like him. I'm sure they do. But like he's fun to root against. And he's hooked up with Kara. I like Kara, so it's fine on that front. But like the American Big Brother people just in general, I don't love, like they don't seem like they fit on the show all that well.
Or like the Bachelor, the guy from
the
Chase.
guy from Chase from the Bachelor.
He does not. You know what? And then coming into it, we'll get into that part of the episode at some point. But coming into the episode, and I'd seen like the little teaser, and I was just like, Chase gonna hook up with Nany. I'd seen like a little clip that Wes, I believe, had posted to his Twitter about Nany being back on this season and being on the prowl. And then you see Chase, and I was just like, Chase is going to be free money. That did not last long.
Well, he got into this thing where he's just like, I'm not here to play games. And to quote, I think Tony tweeted this out
Tony
last
did,
night.
yeah, I saw that.
With his brother, we're playing a fucking game.
Yeah, this
What are
is
you
a
what are
game.
talking
You are
about?
literally in a game.
He seems like the biggest dud on the show. Him or that guy that won Big Brother who got brought back, Josh.
Josh?
He seems like the world's biggest loser.
Yeah, him and Amanda is going to be a nightmare of a matchup. Like, she was not excited. You could see her kind of forcing laughter as like she was happy that she was allowed back on the show, but she knows she's got an uphill climb. Like, she's not a bad competitor. She's a pretty underrated competitor, I would say.
I don't know if she's underrated or not. I think she's just like she's below average, but not terrible. But her not with a really good partner is really going to show.
It's true.
Like, they might be a team that gets kept around a while because they're so brutal.
Like, she was decent with Zach last year.
Of course, because Zach's great.
Yeah.
But even like, I don't know, I worry about some of these veteran teams just looking at it. Like, I do think that Wes and D are in the best spot. I think Wes got the best partner.
D?
Yeah.
Elaborate.
I just thought she was really good.
I didn't really have much of a takeaway about her, to be perfectly honest. I don't really. I hardly even remember from the episode. Like, she's from Geordie Shore,
Yeah,
so you know she's gonna want to yuck it up. So there's probably points there.
Well, she's from Geordie Shore, but she's also from Australia, for one thing. So she's not the same as just being from like Liverpool.
Yeah.
She has an even crazier.
That may be a
accent.
bad thing. You want the crazies.
Maybe, but I just think that like to watch her like go down the dunes, she was really good. She just couldn't figure out the puzzle. But if she's paired with Wes, I don't really worry about that because Wes is going to be good at puzzles. Like
Wes is a little.
Wes needs someone who is just athletic enough to keep up. We've seen this in all the pair shows that he's done. Like Nani held him back the year that they were paired up because she's not that great of an athlete. He dragged Casey to a third place finish in like Fresh Meat 1. Like he's so good at this stuff that he just needs a capable partner, and he's going to do really well. And I think he's got himself a capable partner.
I think he's washed up.
I know. Absolutely. Wes is gonna beat all of them this year. He's gonna beat Johnny. He's gonna beat CT. He's gonna beat Zach. People like Wes now, man. I like
Wes. I think he's a good guy.
I think that people in the house don't see him like they see Bananas and see Zach and all these.
Because he's been gone.
Exactly. So I think that ingratiates him more to like the British people.
He's off the steroids. He doesn't do steroids anymore. You can't deny that this guy has shrunk significantly since his glory days.
Listen, I
This
agree.
is not
I
the old West that used to show up with like veins popping out of all of his necks, and he only has one neck. Veins popping out of his neck, just like a raging redhead of sorts. And he's not that guy anymore. He's like he invests in startups, and like you can see him like eating like Kansas City ribs and stuff half of the time. Like this is not the West of old. So, like, the fact that Rob, our boy Rob, thank you for doing all the pricing, but I'm going to shit on you right now. The fact that he priced him at $200, it's like you're paying peak price for him.
I'm paying him.
And, like,
he's making my fantasy team.
Dead money.
It's not dead money. Wes is going to
money.
he's going to outlast all these other
He's
veterans.
smart. I'll give him that. He's smart. He knows how to play the game. He knows how to build alliances. Him and Johnny may actually, all of these old vets may be veterans or maybe on a team this year.
Here's what's going to happen. They're all going to team up. You're going to have CT and Johnny and Kara. They're all going to be on a team, and Wes is going to play both sides, and Wes is going to last, and all those guys are going to be gone. He's going to be the last man standing.
No.
And then he'll have to take on, like, there are some really good other people that I like. Drafting my fantasy team, you get to pick the 6 people. And you think that Paulie's a free square, right?
Free square.
I think Turbo's a free square. That guy's going to win.
I'm probably going to, I like Turbo as well in terms of new people.
Turbo is
like he
pretty awesome.
Looks, but there's a lot of these new people are like super jacked. There was Ashley C off the top.
Let's go through a few of them here. Ashley C.
Jacked.
He's a former soccer player,
Yeah.
which I don't quite understand how he was a soccer player.
Well, like once they stop testing you, you go, hey, nobody's testing me anymore. I've always wanted to be super jacked and I wasn't able to because I had to run around a soccer pitch all day.
Sure, but that doesn't. Look how mini Zach is now compared to what he used to be.
He was like an arena football.
He was, but he was way bigger. Like I don't think he was on steroids or anything like that. He was just huge. But now he looks more like CrossFit in shape instead of like all I do is arm curls and bench presses,
which will probably do well for him if he actually gets deep enough in this game to get to a final.
Exactly. So this Ashley guy, I worry about that. Halfway through like a classic season, they always have like basically a mini final that's like an endurance event. I don't know how well this Ashley guy is going to hold up in an endurance event. If he gets thrown into elimination, that involves endurance. If it's not something he can just overpower people with, he seemed fine enough at puzzles. So I'm not too worried about that. That I think that he just might gas out.
I feel like when you look at the men on this season, this is probably the most athletic bunch that I've seen in a long time.
Overall, like even all
Like
the
it's
girls,
impressive.
guys, and all the new people that they've brought in.
Yeah,
like,
man.
It's a super
Like this is a
athletic season.
this is a tough slate, I guess you could say, for this season of the challenge. Like all of these new guys are super jacked, seemingly in really, really good shape. You have veterans like CT, West, Johnny that, they're never out of it. Zach is obviously Hunter. Like Hunter's due to have a big season one of these years. He was supposed to have it last year, and then he got completely robbed.
He did win last year.
Yeah,
he
it's
just
true.
got no money to show for it.
Yeah,
but
fair.
I like Hunter a lot. I think he's going to do well here. That's why I actually ended up picking his partner, Georgia.
Yep.
I couldn't quite. I wanted to go 3 and 3, 3 guys, 3 girls.
Yeah.
And Hunter was my 4th guy on the list, and I was like, well, I'll just take his partner because if he does well, she should theoretically do well. And I don't think anyone's going to own her because no one cares. I just like Hunter. He always he games, man,
He's good.
and people like him except for Ashley.
Except for Ashley, but she's not going to be around.
Well, you have the hottest takes on Smashly there is. She's always on your fantasy team. Is she going to be on your fantasy team
Can't do it this year.
because she's already threatened to quit?
I was already thinking about this. There's an old saying in like boxing that like you can't show up to work when you sleep in silk sheets, or you can't get up and something like that. So it's like she has this money. We saw it the last time that she won all of the money. What ended up happening? She left on the first night because she's the type of person. She has the money. She goes, I don't need this. I'm above this. And then she's gone. She's already threatened it. Like she even flat out said when Chase picked her, she's like, probably wasn't a very good idea. It's like she's already planning her escape. We know with her, it's gonna take one night, getting super banged up, super drunk. She's gonna sleep with one of the guys. It's gonna be some drama. She's just gonna pack her stuff and go. Like that's how I see this shaking out for her this year. She'll be back in like 2 or 3 seasons when she's had a few more surgeries and got herself whatever it is that floats her boat. Like after a good couple, maybe a year. She'll be gone for a year, I think, after this. She's going to spend a bunch of money and then she'll come back.
I don't know. I'm always torn on Smashly because even when she quits or gets kicked off, she's so good at fantasy scoring for the challenge.
Yeah.
Every time you see her, she's in a fight, she's hooking up with someone,
yeah.
and she's actually a good competitor. So if she does have her head in the game, she's super underrated here.
Well, yeah, and there's things like physical fighting. She is definitely possible for that.
I did like that she threw out that not only was she going to quit, it's that I have enough money. I don't need this. I really enjoyed that.
That's what I'm saying. Like you can't, it's not going to take much for her to leave. She's already threatened it. And she was going to pick Theo. I like that strategy though. Like that had him quivering in his boots for sure.
Well, she should have picked Theo because
she couldn't because it was the rookies that picked, right?
That's the best team, right?
Theo.
Kara and Theo.
Yeah, it's pretty damn good.
Because Theo seems like he was in the 4x400, I think it was, British Olympic team.
Was he?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
He's 6'5". Like he might be the most hilarious guy on the show.
So yeah, that is the best team.
So was that the best part of the episode so far? Like that's the number one highlight from the episode when Theo called Ashley basically white trash by calling him Eminem's mom.
Eminem's mom, and then she kind of lost her mind. Everyone else was laughing. Then she had a great quote, which was, "You put a knife in me, and I'm gonna shoot you in the head." Which, like, I guess it's a backstabbing thing, but that is something that Eminem's mom would probably say.
I mean, that's a very American statement to me. The British people are like, "Good God, what is this?"
Really, really, really aggressive. Like,
but he got a great partner too with Kara.
Well, he got lucky because he was the best rookie going through the challenge in the first place. So he chose wisely. Kara is the most solid year in and year out girl you could have on your team.
Did it surprise you the order that a lot of these people were picked in? Like, how did Zach last to be basically the last guy? That seems just insane.
Is this in the order that we?
No, this is just in the pricing that we're looking at. But he was the last guy picked.
Yeah, Amanda makes sense as the last.
Yeah, sure.
pick.
Amanda and Jenna make sense.
Nobody wants to be on Amanda's team.
But like, who's taking Leroy over taking Zach? Like, you think you would do a bit of prep coming into the show? Be like, Leroy never wins. Like, he's just kind of there for a good time. Zach is an absolute monster. Like, I would have taken. I don't know if Zach would be my first pick. Like, if you were the girls picking the guys, who would be your first pick if you had first pick?
First pick?
Yeah, of the veteran guys. It's probably Zach, isn't it?
Yeah. I was looking at, because like Johnny and CT, kind of old.
Same with Wes.
I'm worried about CT these days. It's just like, I just don't think he has it in him to really make a big run.
Like, I think Zach and Hunter
are like that new wave of like the massive dudes. And Zach, I guess with your weight loss or muscle loss type of narrative there, maybe he'll be a little bit better in a final. Hunter's right up there though. Hunter would be really up there with me.
And I just think, like I said, I think I would want Wes over the other veteran dudes just because he's been out of the game for a bit. It seems like he's nicer now. Maybe that goes hand in hand with him shrinking down a bit. He's not as aggressive as he used to be. And he'll figure out, he'll be one step ahead of everyone. It's just, will people gang up on him like they always do to get rid of him? And I don't think it's going to happen.
He's got other guys like, Johnny is an easier guy.
Johnny is such a target this season. He is not lasting.
No.
And
I don't think he has a great teammate either.
No, and neither do I. I'm 100% on board with you.
Yeah.
I just think he wants to bang Morgan. That's why he was all about it.
He's done it so many times. And let's talk about, we were talking about Bear making a bunch of money to show up on this season. Johnny must be making bank every single time he shows up to a season at this point.
Well, I think
he is part of the.
I believe you get paid based on the number of times that you've been on. So it's like a sliding scale up. So if I think this is his 19th challenge. So he's making the most out of anyone just on appearance fees. But now that he's hosting the show, it all goes hand in hand. Bananas isn't stupid. Wes seems like he's actually quite smart. And Bananas is not quite as intelligent as Wes. I don't even know about street smart, but I think he gets that he has a limited time frame to maximize how much money he can make. And then if he leaves the challenge to go host this NBC show, what happens when the NBC show goes tits up? Now he's got nothing. That he needs to stay around and just make as much money here, get as much visibility, because at some point he's just going to be able to he could probably make a living off his Instagram account now anyway, just based on the number of ads that he can put out. Yeah. But I don't know, show up, get your appearance fee, stick around. Maybe he'll turn face again. Maybe people start to like Johnny.
He's a master manipulator.
It happened to CT. CT was the biggest villain there was.
Now everyone loves him. He's a big happy teddy bear.
Look at Wes. When Wes last left, I guess what's peak Wes season? Because the last few, he was basically just voted out right away because Bananas was there let's get rid of Wes. We're just listening to Johnny. But the Ruins was his last big season.
When he was still big.
Yeah, but he won with CT in Rivals 2, and he was minier then, but he was a lot calmer then. And I think that's the Wes that we're going to see this time around. I think he's the most level-headed, but he's still a good competitor because he can run the long distances. He's good at swimming. Well, I don't know how much water there is in Namibia. It seems to be in a desert, so I don't know how much swimming is going to come into play.
Yeah, that's actually a good take.
And then he will try to figure everything out from there on. Good news for Leroy.
Yeah.
Because he can't swim. Or Jose, who can't swim. He's not on the season, which is, out of all the Big Brother people not to bring back, how do you not bring back Jose? Who was just
he'll be back.
I hope so. Hopefully he's launching a new rap single.
They go on a bit of a rotation here. With some of the outside kind of competitors, right?
Okay. And of all the new people, who are the cross-offs right away, do you think? Chase is a cross-off, right?
All right, so we'll just go through this list.
Theo, good.
Josh is out.
You're not buying Josh, winner of Big Brother?
No. You're going up against think about he didn't look small by any stretch of the imagination.
He looks kind of fat, actually.
When we look at all of the other, we were talking about it. Look at all the guys in this. If there's any sort of physical challenge, and some of these challenges do look pretty physical from the trailers that we've seen,
tug of wars,
and
stuff
jumping
from
tire to tire as there's big I don't even know what it's some sort of big vehicle that's dragging rubber tires across, and it's seeming like they're jumping from tire to tire. So are you going to pick this guy or some of these other more athletic looking guys?
Well, I think the ideal body type for the challenge isn't that Ashley guy who's super duper jacked. No. I think it's more body weight. If you can lift your own weight kind of thing, I think that's kind of where you want to be at, because there's no bench press this challenge. It might come into if they go back to the old Oklahoma drill challenge where you run through a thing. You don't want to be seeing Ashley coming down at you because he's going to run you over. I remember that happened to Wes one year. He ended up going against someone who twice his size, and there was no way that he was ever going to beat him. So unless he runs into that scenario, I think he's better geared because even if he weighs $165 now, he probably bench more than that. He can lift more than that. He's good with his body manipulation, and he has strong enough core, good enough endurance that he's well rounded. Bananas is the same way. Bananas looks like he's getting a bit bigger though.
He's getting old.
Yeah. He's not as old as Wes.
The metabolism's shutting down.
Yeah.
For the old boy.
It happened to us. It happens to everyone. So
honestly, when I look through
this Josh guy, he seems like he's out of shape, and then he's talking about how he has anxiety. Like,
yeah, it's
not good to be in the challenge.
How did he win Big Brother if he has it though?
I don't watch Big Brother.
Me neither.
Like, because I really can't stand the people.
Maybe people just like felt really bad for him. Maybe it was like a sympathy win.
Or maybe he's good at manipulation. Maybe he uses all of this, but that's not going to work here because you're going to have to.
Because most of these people are sociopaths and they don't give a shit. You think Ashley cares if you're like upset and you hurt my feelings, I'm getting manipulated? She doesn't care.
Yeah. So Josh, let's cross him off. Bear, I kind of
honestly most of these male prospects besides Theo and Kane, like not interested.
Oh, Turbo.
Oh, and Turbo. Sorry. Those three are the only guys that I would even consider rostering.
So no Chase.
No.
So you'd say Ashley, Theo, and Turbo would be the three?
I don't know much about Gus. I've seen some love for Gus out there, but I just don't have much of a take on him yet. I don't think he got very much screen time.
My wife said that Gus looks like Chad Michael Murray from One Tree Hill.
Is that good or bad?
I don't know.
It's probably good considering it was One Tree Hill. Yeah. That's like a CW or
CW show.
Yeah.
From the early 2000s.
They don't hire ugly people.
No. So he's got that. He was also in that the House of Wax remake. I feel like that came out like
right.
I may have been in high school when that came out. I don't really remember.
Okay, I think I remember that. I remember that. A little bit out of my wheelhouse.
Put it this way, it was pre Vincent Price dying because he was in the movie. And Vincent Price has probably been dead for like a decade.
All right.
I think he was in it. He was in the original.
So Gus is good looking.
But his partner is Jenna, which probably puts her into alliance with Zach, although there's this. What was your take? I talked to Rob about that. About Zach and Jenna and Amanda dropping the bomb. Do you think that's all just hype?
Could be nothing. It's probably nothing.
Feels like nothing. Like it's something to build up. But
do you think I would be surprised that Zach cheated? Like he's probably cheated on her a bunch of times.
Well, I mean, I remember when she was in the house and he picked up the phone. It was someone else.
Come on, like that stuff happening is not going to shock anybody, to be perfectly honest.
All right, so we're going Theo, we're going Turbo, and we're going Ashley as the three best new guys. No love for Bear. Bear seems fiery, if nothing else. He's going to get in your face. He just seems good at TV. Maybe
if it's puzzles, maybe he's good at puzzles. And you know what? The one thing about it is that you're not going to get everybody to the final, and you really do have to focus on the points that are scored. You want
hooking up.
Last season, I had a hot start, and it's because I picked Kayla and that British girl who both fought on episode 1. It's
how is
I
Melissa
had
not
drafted the right competitors, but there's a fine line in this game between drafting the right competitors and then drafting people who get kicked out way too early because they're too insane. And that's the game you play. You play that game with with Smashley every single year too, right? It's like if you roster her, she has high ceiling and incredibly low floor. Like there's no middle ground. At least they get 150 for getting kicked out, and then they're done.
But you don't get the 150 if you voluntarily leave like Ashley did that one time. So that was no good. So we're big on Turbo just because he looks like a gamer and he won.
He's Turkish.
He's Turkish, so he's a hardened fella.
And they're already aligning him as like the new CT. If you kind of,
I don't know if he's the new CT.
Like he's not. They won't have a CT ever again because they don't let people just like get in fights. And and actually assault people anymore.
Well, it's funny. It's not funny, but like. If you go back and look at like the sort of the retooling of CT throughout the years, like he once punched a gay dude who was asleep because he was gay. They never talk about that sort of thing. And he went after Adam King because he was gay. Yeah. Like that doesn't fly. Yet MTV and no one seems to bring it up because people like CT now.
And it's
weird.
CT is it's amazing that they've somehow managed to rebrand him because he's the lovable teddy bear now, but
he seems like he's really turned a corner in life, that he does seem like a better guy.
Once he had the kid, that was he was already heading in that direction, but once he had that kid, he really softened him up.
So, but if we're going to be big on Turbo, why aren't we big on JP, the dude from Brazil who's super handsome? Because he's going to be hooking up, but like...
He's cheap, too.
He's super cheap. Like, his English isn't great, so they're probably not going to get into like verbal fights with people. Like, I don't think Turbo's doing much besides trying to win.
Yeah.
Like, if he's from Turkey, I assume he's Muslim. He might not drink. So
That's a very didn't. You're thinking.
I'm-
You're starting to get.
I put some thought into this.
You're starting to put me off of Turbo, to be perfectly honest.
listen,
You're Team Turbo, but
I'm
I'm
Team
starting to
Tur-
consider
I
he's a
just-
little bit expensive. He's 180, and if he's not drinking, he's not fighting, he's not kissing, he's not vomiting, he's not
but what is he there to do? Win.
win.
And I don't know if there's any better competitor on this show.
But to get that's 250 at the end. You've got to be banking points along the way.
Yeah, but
and he may not be getting too many.
yeah, but
points
if
along the way.
he's not drinking this entire time,
Do you think people are going to call Turbo into the elimination chamber? No, thank you.
I don't know about that, but you do get 30 points for every time that you win a daily mission.
Yeah,
And like that's usually where Banana scores all of his points.
I think that's there's no real edge on that this year though. With all these great competitors,
I
I don't
he
think
might be better.
I don't think anybody's just going to steamroll the competition week
like,
in and week out.
Like I'm not big on Nani as a competitor, but I think she's like average.
And she's on the prowl. There's really good opportunities
he-
for some coitus points this year.
And he might have to step in to like break stuff up if people are fighting over Nani because he seems more like a father figure than someone who should be on the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
He's already getting this hero cut, like I talked about, that they're making him seem like a real good dude.
Yeah.
That I just think he goes a long way.
Fair enough. I don't hate that.
And like he's not going to complain about the food or the conditions. Like that's the one thing. Like I don't think we've seen anyone from Survivor on this before. Like you're in a mansion. This is great. Like to think about like American Survivor, I can't imagine what Turkish Survivor is
boy.
like. I mean, even worse, right?
American Survivor is a complete sham. At least it used to be. I actually, when I was in Fiji for a little bit of time, 3 weeks, and we went to this one place called Mana Island, which is like right near Nandi, which is like where you basically fly into if you go to Fiji. And on Mana Island, if you just went over this little crest over onto the other side of there's this island, there's a little small mountain range in between. If you just walked over, it wasn't really a mountain, more of like a big hill, rocky hill. You walked over, you looked down, there was all of these little like shacks and stuff. So I went back to our place and talked to like the reception or whatever. I'm like, well, what was that over there? They're like, that's the scene of season 1 of Survivor. It's like, wait a second. There's 3 or 4 all-you-can-eat buffets on the other side of a hill.
Well, that's probably, in fairness, that's probably for production.
They're like, but people, we had competitors who came over the hill and would come and eat the meals.
Perfect.
And like we'd have to like report that like, wait, we saw some like really dirty person trying to get in here. So like it's a sham.
So basically, you got
There's
to meet,
food nearby.
You
They just
got to meet Richard Hatch.
I didn't get to meet him. It wasn't going on at the time that I was there, but all I'm saying is not everything is what you see, what it appears to be.
Really, on reality TV,
no.
it's just like when Tim was devastated to learn that Storage Wars was rigged.
It was rigged, yeah.
So of the girls on the other side, I think it's pretty clear that Ninja's the best girl.
100%.
Like that's not even close. Like, she has to be on your team. She's expensive. She's $180. But
That is good chalk right there.
yeah, and I don't know if people will pay it. And she's paired with Pauly too, and like
That's why I'm stacking that team. Like that is just lock those 2 in and then go from there. I haven't even actually constructed a lineup yet. I haven't seen like what I'm able to get away with yet. But I will be having Pauly and Ninja. I think they can go far. Pauly's just, I can't believe you're not going to roster Pauly, man. You look at the point structure here.
it's not that I don't think that Pauly's.
You just don't wanna root
He's
for him.
like the Mark Ingram of the challenge fantasy. It's like he's in worst place. I root against him to lose every time he goes in.
How many times did they come back from the Redemption House last year?
They only came back the one time because they kept losing. And
True.
They kept pulling the thing to come back and then losing and going back.
He's a survivor. Plus, he's got Kara on this. Like, they're going to be...
So,
every episode, you're going to be in line for coitus points. Every episode, he gets in fights. He's literally the total package, and he's 150. He's 50 cheaper than a bunch of these older guys.
I think that he's going to be the most popular player
He should be.
picked in this game, so I'll fade him.
All right, fair.
Fade him. And hopefully he doesn't win. If he doesn't win, then I hope we can have 3 guys that finish better than he does. Are you big on stacking the team? Like, if you have 6 picks, is it going to be guy, girl, guy, girl, guy, girl, all on the same team? Because Rob said that's what he's doing. I'm not doing that.
I don't think so. But, like, I will correlate things. Like, if I have Pauly, she's really expensive, but I definitely want Cara Maria.
That was another reason, too, why I didn't go with Pauly, because I knew I would have to have Cara if I did that, just to get double points.
You
all
need
the
those
time.
double points.
So if you
because
fade-
like most people
if
would
you
take
fade
her.
one, I think you fade the other one.
Most people who take at least Pauly. Some people may just take Cara Maria on her own, but people who take Pauly are definitely gonna, stack her with Cara Maria, 100%.
So of the girls besides Ninja,
The new ones.
The new ones. Who's next? Like I said, I like D, Wes's partner. She seems gung-ho to win. The one from, is it Florida, Bama Shore? Party Down South? Whatever it is.
Maddie?
Maddie, she seems pretty good. She's big.
She seems big.
And that goes a long way.
That's how Jenna's won a lot of.
Jenna's won. But she looks kind of like sloppy Laurel. Like not athletic Laurel. Maybe she is athletic, but like Laurel is in top-notch shape. Maddie seems like she enjoys herself a drink or two.
Yeah. Yeah, no, she looks like she's down to party at least, and she's.
I mean, she's on a show called Party Down South.
fair
And
point.
I ended up going with Georgia, Hunter's partner, because I like Hunter. I'm not going to have Hunter on my team, so I'll have Hunter exposure. And I think she was on a show called Love Island.
So that means
Like, that sounds like she's down to hook up.
and she got Hunter, and Hunter's a willing party.
Yeah, Hunter's in.
She picked Hunter.
Is it weird that
He's getting. That's his girl for the season.
Is it weird that there's no like Corey, there's no Nelson, no Devin, like none
All of
those
Hunter's
guys?
buddies aren't here.
Yeah, but people independent of all those other guys, like no one likes Corey, no one likes Nelson, people don't like Devin, people seem to like Hunter. Even Bananas seems to like Hunter.
Does he though?
He doesn't seem to hate him, put it that way. He doesn't have like a vendetta with Hunter. And CT, Wes, and Hunter all seem to be pals. I saw an Instagram
I'm
post.
not sure about how Hunter fits into it with
I saw
everybody.
an Instagram post of Wes and Hunter hanging out in Kansas City.
Okay.
So they're like pals, I guess.
So yeah, besides Ashley, everyone. It's a tough season, man. Yeah, Hunter is
Like cross off Leroy, right?
Leroy doesn't win anything. He doesn't win anything. He's too nice. We've seen him get like manipulated by Bananas year in and year out, and they're still buddies. Like every single time that Leroy does anything, gets to a certain point, except for the one time that he basically just zipped by that log. That was like the number one moment in his career.
It is. I feel like he gets an awful lot of credit for that one challenge.
Yeah. Otherwise, yeah. If there's anything near water, like he's screwed. He's terrified of water, even if it's like a puzzle or like questions or trivial pursuit or trivia. And there's water. They always like doing one of those. They'll have like a big dunking tank. Like he gets terrified of that.
What's gonna happen with like Turbo and JP, like the people that aren't like super fluent in English when they have like a trivia competition? Maybe there is no trivia competition this time around.
Will they have a translator? Like Turbo doesn't speak any English?
He speaks English, but like it doesn't seem like he speaks English well.
Yeah, well.
I feel bad for the
Snooze,
dude
you lose.
I feel bad for the dude that got sent home. The Mexican guy, Alan, I think his name was.
Yeah, he looked pretty jacked too. He
was-
could have been something.
He was like beefy jacked, but he seemed athletic enough. He's from telenovelas and softcore porn in Mexico, which is just absolutely fantastic.
Is that what he is? I did not know that.
He's not even a reality TV star. He's just on the
He's
show
just-
somehow.
Okay.
He's a big challenge fan, but like he broke his arm, finished the competition, and then like didn't mention it to anyone. Just had a cast on. Was like, yeah, I'm good to go.
Yeah,
Don't worry
let's
about
roll.
me.
Let's-
That is the kind of passion that I want. I don't think that Josh guy has it.
Bring back Alan.
That Josh guy just seems like he wants to sit around and fucking cry the entire time.
Yeah, that could just be part of his game, though. Manipulation could just be part of his game.
Maybe.
We didn't really get much of a read on him. He just showed up real goofy, and everyone's like, "Oh God,
Yeah, who's this
oh
guy?
God, that's Amanda's partner." Sucks to be picked last, I guess.
Do you think that they last if they're a bad team?
No,
Are they the layup team, or are they the team that people like carry to the end?
Are they a layup team?
I would say out of all the teams on this board, Amanda and Josh, Devon and Bear are probably the two worst teams. Because I don't know anything about Bear, and I don't think Devon's.
We don't know how good of an athlete JP is.
Natalie's okay. Like, she's better than Devon, I think.
Maddie and Kyle.
Kyle's not a scrub, but he's like average at best. And
He really leaned on Brad a lot
But
last
Maddie
year.
looks like she's good. And like and that's the whole thing with a lot of these. Like if you're like an average to good guy
Yeah.
and you have an above average female partner, your
You're
team
gonna
is going to
soar.
be really
Yeah,
good.
like yeah.
That's why I like the West team.
Cara Maria Theo is
pretty
the
top
team to
notch.
beat.
Yeah, Theo looks awesome.
He looks really athletic. He looks like he's there.
He's a
He's
runner.
there to hook up.
And
Like
he's got that dry British sense of humor. I did like that Ashley kind of pegged him as, he thinks he's so like high class and elite. And he even has a different accent than the rest of the British people. Like it does seem like he comes from like British.
he's very, very posh.
Yeah, he's more of the posh British rather than like the trash British that you see from Geordie
Which
Shore.
is like Kyle.
Yeah,
Kyle's
like but like the two, like you have like your Cockney accents and like
Yeah.
your Liverpool accents. He sounds like the Queen's accent.
yeah, for sure. London proper.
Yeah. So
And then, yeah,
so
and then-
he could secretly be super smart too.
Or you could just sound like that.
He could, but at least he probably went to some sort of like classy boarding school, and he was an Olympic athlete, so he probably did go to the best of the best, whatever.
True. Frankly, it's Theo Turbo, Theo Turbo,
And Ninja are the three you need to have, I think, of the new people.
yeah. That's really I can't really add anything to that.
And he's Zena Jack and Zena, as we'll call them from now on. Do you put them together if you're going to pair them just because you know that they have drama coming in? Maybe throw Amanda into that team too. Then you got a lot of money. You can pay up for Cara and Theo and Johnny if you wanted to.
My concern there with stacking them is super volatile. There's high risk there.
That is.
Because what if just one of them just decides to leave? Because hey, I just broke up with my girlfriend. My girlfriend's here. I don't want to be around here. Like that, the risk, especially with that stack coming out to 360. Like that's a lot of investment in two people that may just leave.
We talked about the one guy. We didn't talk about his partner. Ashley and Cam is a pretty good team.
Cam is.
We haven't talked about Cam is just gonna she's $190. She's super expensive. But
yeah,
she's a winner, and she's not especially because you get points for like politicking. She's great at it.
In terms of overall brute athleticism, that's the best team.
Yeah, and we didn't even really talk
professional athlete, and then Cam, killer Cam.
I would say maybe it depends on what the challenges end up being, but like Theo and Cara might be a better team.
Maybe. Depending on long distance, but if it's like anything super explosive, like this team's gonna crush. If there's anything physical, Cam and Kane, like the two of them together, it's just like both of them are not gonna lose. If you have to go like girl versus girl, guy versus guy,
I'm curious.
One of the two of them is going to win.
I'm curious about that. Do you think it is like girl versus girl, guy versus guy eliminations, or do you think that they're team eliminations? I would guess that they're team eliminations. Like, why be a part of a team if it's not going to be a team elimination?
They brought in so many athletes this year. So I'm feeling as though, because we've seen in the last couple of years that they're doing a lot less of like the brute athleticism in some of the challenges and some of the eliminations and stuff the last couple of years. Because they kind of, like with the way that the team shook out, you couldn't just be like, here, hold on to this ring and fight it off of CT like Amanda. That just doesn't work, right? But I feel as though with bringing in all these athletes, maybe we were in for a little bit more of a physical type of challenge.
So no love for CT or Bananas here?
No, they're
Me
gone.
neither.
They're too old.
I don't know. I don't even think that they're too old.
I am fading.
I think CT got stuck with a dud partner in terms of athletics, and I think that Johnny did too.
CT,
and people are going to be out to get Johnny.
CT West Johnny.
I'm in on West.
They're part of that old guard that I am.
I'm
staying
West.
away from this year.
I think West has the best sense of this game of anyone.
It's a new world. War of the Worlds.
New War of the Worlds.
Cara Maria, I'm interested in. Pauly, Ninja.
What about throwing Kyle into the mix with Pauly and Cara?
I think Kyle's.
Well, Kyle's going to sleep with at least 6 people on this show.
That's a good point.
Unless like he gets out British sleazed by like Bear.
A lot of these people are coming from these British, like, not Are You the One? What's
X on the Beach?
X on the Beach.
Love X on the Beach. Like
that show is exclusively about hooking up.
I haven't seen American X on the Beach, but I have seen a bunch of the British X on the Beach. Actually, I tried to watch the American one for like 10 minutes. It was unwatchable.
Well, I watched it.
And X on the Beach Britain is only I watch it every week when it's on for about 12 minutes.
Same
and
here.
Then I have to turn it off because it becomes unbearable.
How my schedule worked this year when like the last season of the challenge was on and X on the Beach was on.
We were doing football season.
We were doing the spread pick show. So I would be uploading and usually watching the challenge. And then by the time that was finished, it was kind of rolling into it. So I think I may recognize a couple of the guys, but every episode seems the exact same. Yeah. Like,
and I can't make out exactly what everyone's saying on that show. So they all kind of seem the same. They all kind of look the same. All the girls just wear way too much makeup, and they're like in the blistering heat the entire time, so it's like sweating off them. It's like they all kind of look the same.
Yeah,
they sound the same. They look the same. They all have like bad like bleach jobs. It's not great.
It's really trashy.
It's so trashy. I feel like all these British shows are super trashy.
I love it. I kind of like it.
But it's better than
they're great characters. You bring in Ashley is a great character on this show. Why? Because she's trashy. You bring in Kyle.
That she'll threaten to shoot you.
You put a knife in me, I'll shoot you in the head. Okay. Kyle, great character because he's trashy.
I like Kyle. I like Kyle a lot.
The trashy people don't worry about having coitus with too many people, being nude on camera, kissing, vomiting, crying. Like, you want trashy people. So I guess
they know what makes
Ninja
good
doesn't
TV.
seem very trashy. Like, I don't know if she's going to score very much,
I think
but
if you take Ninja and you take Turbo, you're banking on the fact that they're just good and they're trying to win, and they will win.
Yeah.
And they'll win the daily competitions. They'll win an elimination if they get thrown in, because they're not. I doubt. Maybe Ninja will.
that's why I think Paulie is the perfect package. Because he's got that trashy greasiness to him.
I don't know.
But
if
he
will
also
last. I think he's going
with Kara. He'll be fine.
I feel like he's going to annoy people to the point where they're gonna want to throw him in.
Or he's a chameleon and he'll be loved.
He's
this
not a
season.
chameleon. He is definitely not a chameleon.
We will see how
the
it
guy
plays
cannot
out.
shut his mouth.
We'll see how it plays out.
And he's
this
like
year.
real mini. Like, what if he ends up in one of those like physical competitions against Ashley? He's done. Like, he's like 3 times the size of him.
He was good in like long distance stuff last year.
Well, you mentioned that Ashley was like Mike Bibby now, and you showed me that picture of Mike Bibby.
Yeah, because we were talking. You were just like, "Well, he's a soccer player. How does he have? Why is he so jacked? Like that doesn't look optimal." It's like, well, Mike Bibby once they stopped testing Mike Bibby is super jacked. If you've seen him recently, I showed you.
Yeah,
a picture.
just Google Mike Bibby like current now, and he's huge. It kind of looks like Dave Chappelle, like Dave Chappelle when he was on Chappelle Show to Dave Chappelle now. He's like huge.
Yeah, they're like, I've always wanted to do these steroids, but I had drug agencies and stuff following me around. I had to piss in cups constantly. So, what do you do now? Steroids.
Just seems like
Get super jacked.
It seems like a weird thing to go to after athletics.
You ever done steroids?
I have not. No.
No, I haven't either.
Clearly, I have not.
Clearly, I have not either. No, don't knock if you try, unless you try it.
I don't know. They don't seem like they're super healthy for you.
I think they are super healthy for you.
I think like HGH can be super healthy. I don't
Yeah.
think like anabolic steroids are. Like, why are all these wrestlers doing?
like there's a reason why your balls shrink and stuff like that, I guess. But I think there are studies out there that if you did a little bit of steroids, like it is good for you in older age, like when you're like 60,
Yeah, like they
late 50s, 60s.
But they like legit give old people HGH to keep them alive. Because
exactly.
it helps like reinvigorate your organs.
we all should be on anabolic steroids. This is the moral of the story here.
All right, Paul Shag, pimp your show and your Twitters.
I'm here
Yeah,
on the
you are
Pat
here.
Mayo Experience, breaking down UFC fights, but I'm usually at your seat across the table. It's really weird looking from this angle. But yeah, that's either Tuesday or Wednesday. Wednesday or Thursday. Every single week on the DraftKings YouTube channel, on all the Pat Mayo feeds and everything like that. You see MMA and you see it on the DraftKings YouTube channel. There's a very, very good chance that it's me and my co-host Cody Saftik.
Yeah, probably not going to be me on that one.
No,
Doubt it.
not your forte.
Unless it's some sort of thing where I have to come in and try to pronounce names, which I'm not good at.
Maybe they'll sign somebody from like the challenge one day, and we'll bring you on for hot takes or something.
Maybe. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't watch the UFC. What am I gonna contribute to a UFC?
There's an old guy who used to be on Geordie Shore who's actually in Bellator.
Who?
I forget his name.
So he's not good.
Apparently, he's a big star on Geordie Shore. Like,
Is it Scotty T?
no, it's not him. I forget what his name is.
Like Conor McGregor seems like he could be on Geordie Shore.
I mean, Conor McGregor's also made like $90 million last year.
Yeah, but if you took Conor McGregor like 10 years ago, he seems like a guy that could be on Geordie Shore, right?
He seems like a guy who should be on it right now based on the shit that he's getting himself into, let me tell you.
I think Conor McGregor is a lot like Johnny Bananas when it comes down to a lot of this stuff. I think that Conor McGregor knows that he has a shelf life to make as much money as possible, and he is just trying to maximize it.
For sure. And there's a lot of other stuff that's going on. Rumors that are out there about something that may have happened with him. I think he's amping up the speed at which he makes the money right now.
Okay.
There's some allegations.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's not get into that.
No.
In case they turn out to be fake news and we get sued. We don't want that.
You can dig into the internet. It's all out there if you want to look.
There's a lot of stuff on the internet that is not true.
100%. I am not claiming anything. We need like a little
Disclaimer.
Nothing that Paul Shag says can be held against anybody in the court of law and so on and so forth.
All right, well, worst of luck with your fantasy team.
Same to you.
Same as all of you out there, worst of luck. No spoilers. If I find out that you're getting spoilers, it's going to be pretty easy to tell when you end up with like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 of the top scorers of the season, that I will shame you on social media to the point where I'll get other people to do it and you'll have to quit. I'm not above that because you tried to ruin our game. Keep those spoilers away from this show and anything surrounding me. I want to enjoy the challenge. I watch the challenge to enjoy it, not to be spoiled. So sign up for the Fantasy League at Fantasizer. The link to my league, the Pat Mayo Experience League, is in the description of this video and podcast. You want to start your own league, you can create your own league with your friends. It's a ton of fun. You pick your team once, 6 people, set at the beginning of the year, check back in every week to see how you're doing, but you don't change anything. If your people get eliminated, you finish. That's going to be the end of you. Also, if you want to get into a draw for $20 DK dollars, smash the like button to the episode, leave your DraftKings handle, tell me who you think is going to win this season of the challenge. Which team? Also, if you want to get into a draw for 20 DK bucks, go rate the podcast. iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, 5-star review, something nice about the show with your DraftKings handle, and you were in a draw for 20 DK dollars. I will announce the winner, on Monday's show with Jeff Feinberg. Thank you all for watching. Enjoy this season of the challenge. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!